So we are inching and inching and inching toward the election of 2024. So Kamala Harris, obviously, versus Donald Trump. Harris has been making the rounds. They were saying she wasn't doing interviews. Now she's doing a lot of interviews. She's not had a lot of time to prepare for this moment, but she has seized the opportunity. She is moving forward. I think that she is showing strength. She's been going some places that are not necessarily friendly to the vice president. And she is making headway. One of the things that has been out there about the vice president is that she targeted, as a prosecutor, black men. She says that this is simply not true. She denies that as a prosecutor, she targeted black men. She has refuted claims that her work in California led to, quote, thousands of black men, unquote, to be jailed for the use of weed during a Detroit interview with host Charlemagne the God. So she also vowed to work to decriminalize weed, marijuana, if she is elected president. So Charlemagne, of course, is a host from the Breakfast Club in New York. He's popular with the community. Obviously, he is a black male, and presidential hopefuls have been making stops for a while. Folks that are trying to earn votes from the black community. They have come to the Breakfast Club. This is traditionally a music outlet, but over the I guess last few years, since at least the last election, there have been headways into politics and some of these social conversations. The Harris campaign is seeking to boost its support among black men. So you have some black men that fall victim to chauvinism, fall victim to this mindset that a woman cannot be in charge. And this is an old school mindset. So you have some black men that are more chauvinistic and are willing to ignore rape, willing to ignore the lies, willing to ignore the bad behavior and go to Donald Trump. It's really disgusting when you think about it. But the Harris campaign, as I said, seeking to boost its support among black men. As polling shows, former President Trump is making some inroads with this demographic, at least when you compare it to 2020. So why is this happening? You have just a mindset. You have this mindset. When asked by a listener during the town hall style show about her commitment to black men year round, not just during an election, she doubled down, talking about the long-standing commitment, including the work that I've done as vice president and before when I was a senator, and before that, Kamala Harris said. I've talked to black men who think that Donald Trump, a white man, a rich white man who has been racist, would do more for them than Kamala Harris. I don't know where this mindset comes from. They're definitely not thinking clearly on this matter. One of the biggest pieces of misinformation, of the biggest allegations against you, is that you targeted and locked up thousands of black men in San Francisco for weed, Charlemagne said to the vice president, asking her to explain the facts. And Kamala Harris said to this very direct question, it's simply not true. What public defenders who were around those days telling folks is that I was the most progressive prosecutor in California on marijuana cases and would not send people to jail for simple possession of weed. So this is one of the things that they threw out there. If you remember during the 2020 campaign, Harris's record as a prosecutor drew significant criticism from the left during that presidential bid. A lot of folks on the left looked at her as being, representing the man and locking up black men for petty offenses. She tried to highlight her career as a prosecutor more during this 2024 bid, in part as a way to appeal to more of the centrist voters and counter Donald Trump's efforts to cast her as a San Francisco liberal. But let's make no mistakes about this. Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party need black voters. They need the support of the black community, men and women. And the needs of the black community are not just about criminal justice, but they include criminal justice, but not only criminal justice. Kamala Harris highlighted other proposals that she's rolled out as part of the economic opportunity agenda for black men as she tries to continue to court them. I explained to a Trump supporter who happens to be black male, why would you think that Donald Trump, someone who did not even want to rent apartments to black people, would do more for black men, the black community as a whole, than Kamala Harris? I broke it down to the simple, just simple facts. Why would you think that a man whose father was a member of the Ku Klux Klan would do more for you than a woman whose father is Jamaican? Why would you think that? As a black man. Black Americans disproportionately have a reduced access to home ownership in this country. Kamala Harris has vowed to increase the child tax credit to $6,000 per child during the first year of a child's life. As far as just her identity, she says that she is proud to be the first HBCU vice president in the United States. She's the first vice president that attended an HBCU. And she intends to be the first HBCU president of the United States. Harris is expected to win among black men. Now, polls suggest this, but as far as hitting the numbers of past Democratic presidential candidates, including Biden, including President Obama, that helped propel them to the White House. So she's not going to be doing, according to polls, as well as they did, but she is expected to still get there. Undecided black voters, yes, there are some out there. Part of the challenge that Kamala Harris faces is that they're trying to scare people because they know that otherwise they wouldn't have anything else to run on. If you ask Donald Trump, what is your plan for black America? He doesn't have any answer. Obama, in his first campaign rally for Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania last week, bluntly suggested black men might be hesitant to vote for a woman, but he urged them to do so. And a lot of Trump supporters, Republicans, haters of Kamala Harris said, how dare Barack Obama tell black men who to vote for. He is a surrogate for the Harris campaign, and he is speaking to our community. Many of these people that had this issue were not even part of the black community. Now, you had some tokens, some tools of white supremacy that were speaking about this. But Harris also wins over Trump with regards to her vision for the country. She often talks about not going back, talking about how Donald Trump is attempting to take us as a nation backwards. Trump's vision is about fascism. Why can't folks say that? Many folks don't know what fascism is. But we can definitely say that. This is going to be a tight race. This is definitely going to be a tight race. Kamala Harris, I believe, is going to win, but it's going to be tight. This election is profound. The stakes are high, and it is going to be historic. All white people are not supporting Donald Trump. All black people are not supporting Kamala Harris. But in many instances, Harris is currently maintaining a strong lead among black swing state voters. That is going to be important. She still has a wide lead over Donald Trump among black voters in the battleground states. That is good. But the results are largely within the margin of error. We're talking about small amounts of vote. But I don't want people to put too much stake in the polls. Polls can be skewed. They can talk to people who they want to talk to get a certain visual out there. Cherry picking who they talk to and giving you results that are not necessarily the facts. So I don't put too much stake in the polls. We could talk about them, generally speaking, right? The overwhelming majority of black voters overall plan to support Kamala Harris. The data has been showing a small shift among independents, in the last few months. Self-described Democrats and Republicans, including independents who lean toward either party, stayed consistent in their support for Harris and their support for Trump. Whoever you were rocking with, that's usually who you're still rocking with. Support for Donald Trump among independent black voters is a sizable 18%, up from 12% in September. The share of independents who said that they're still undecided also went up in September, 26% compared to 20%. So there are gender and age divides. Polling is a snapshot. So we're not going to act like this is etched in stone, but polling findings show that Kamala Harris is leading Donald Trump by 81 points among black women, but only 59 points among black men. The same share of men and women, 10%, claim that they're undecided. So when we go back to Barack Obama, you had men, you had women, black supported him overwhelmingly so. Kamala Harris is dealing with a very large amount of chauvinism. Some men just don't want to see a woman in charge. And I don't know how she overcomes that. I don't know how she overcomes that. And in many instances, she may not. So who are you casting your vote for? I'm sure that at this point in time, you know who. It's not like you're learning something new about Donald Trump that you didn't know. We're obviously seeing his something's going on, mentally with him. Something's going on. We can't sit and act like that's not happening when it is. Harris has been slamming Trump for suggesting that the military could be used against the quote unquote enemy from within. That's been something that one of the many things that Trump's been saying to put his foot in his mouth. But she has been zeroing in on Donald Trump's comments. Harris at a rally yesterday in Pennsylvania called Donald Trump a serious threat to American democracy who is out for unchecked power. She continued and says he considers anyone who does not support him or who will not be behind or bend to his will as an enemy of our country. Harris and Trump have become fixtures in the country's largest 2024 battleground states. Countdown to the election is going on. Harris yesterday made her 10th visit to Pennsylvania this campaign season. And Trump's Monday town hall in suburban Philadelphia came after visits last week to Scranton and Reading, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a valuable state. Pennsylvania is an important state in this election. Harris and Trump have thrown themselves fully into the race for Pennsylvania. Both camps know that they need it. Trump beat Hillary by more than 40,000 votes in Pennsylvania on his way to winning the presidency in 2016. Now, Joe Biden, who is from Scranton, beat Trump by about 80,000 votes in Pennsylvania just 4 years ago. That's how valuable and significant the state of Pennsylvania is. Both sides believe that the race for Pennsylvania is close, and it is. As I said, Trump spoke at a town hall Monday in suburban Oaks, responding to a man who said that his dream of home ownership feels out of reach. Trump said that regulations made it too expensive to build in some places. He repeated his pledge, Trump, to increase U.S. oil drilling, drill baby drill, which he said would drive costs down through domestic production. But the thing about it is that drilling in America is already at record highs. Trump likes to talk about the economy, but it's the economy that he inherited from Barack Obama. What did Donald Trump actually do when he was in office? Nothing good. But his answer is, we're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to have so much energy, we're going to bring prices down. Trump is confused on many things. And we're going to talk more about this later on tonight on the program. But Trump's, actions, he cut short remarks after twice being interrupted by medical emergencies. That was interesting. Turning the town hall into a concert instead. Trump is something's going on. Something's going on. The safest, smartest bet for America is Kamala Harris. Trump's decline, mental, physical, emotional, it continues to unfold. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you know who you're voting for right now? And has that vote changed at any point during this election? djdiamondk at gmail.com, of course, on youtube.com/djdiamondk. We'll be back here tonight, 6 p.m. Of course, you can stream the Diamond K Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. Check us out. And of course, you want to advertise, you can do that very easily onfirebroadcasting.com. I'll see you guys later on tonight as we continue to follow the 2024 election.